Good afternoon. Welcome to the Meridian Parks and Recreation first regular commission meeting since the approval of the ordinance. We are no longer in special meetings and have gone back to regular meetings. It is 4 past the hour. We'll go ahead and begin with a call of the roll. Rachel?
Yes, thank you. Dom Gelsomino,
Present.
Jennifer Bobo,
Present.
Mandy Roberts is absent. Joe Greer
Present. Can you hear me?
is present. She's online. Let's see, Ellie Hood is absent. Bree Sandow is absent. Terry Dennington. Here. John Nesmith.
Present.
Is online as well. Alan Helms.
Present. Thank you, Rachel. Quorum being present, could I please have a motion for the adoption of tonight's agenda?
Chairman, I motion that we accept the agenda for tonight.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Helms. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Dennington has second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We have next our approval of the minutes from the March 12th, 2025 special meeting. Do I have a motion for the approval of last month's minutes?
Mr. Chair, I make the motion we approve our last month's minutes.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Helms. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dennington. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Our next item, announcements, upcoming events by Shelley Houston.
Hello, commissioners. I haven't seen you for a couple months because my innards were in the shop. I'm doing better. Not perfect, but so much better. So I'm glad I can be here. Let me just go over a few things that are upcoming events. Tomorrow is Do the Right Day in Meridian. As you'll remember, that's Meridian's kind of annual campaign of kindness. It's a day of kindness when we kind of shine the light on the idea of people doing something kind to someone to their right, whether it's a classmate or someone in line at the grocery store or a neighbor. There's no right or wrong way to celebrate Do the Right Day. Any act of kindness given or received would be something that could be highlighted. You could snap a picture and post it on your social media with the hashtag Do the Right, or just do it to warm the cockles of your heart. We do have a little appreciation station set up right now out in the lobby, and it's got some little note cards that if you want to pick one up on the way out, you could write a little note of appreciation or kindness to someone that means something special to you. Also tomorrow evening from 5:30 to 7:30 over at Meridian Middle School, not far from here, is the Do the Right Fair. And it's a little fair or festival for a few hours for families where they'll have little stations set up where you can do little kindness-based projects. Write a note, sign up to donate blood, help make handmade bears for children in crisis, help card some jewelry for the youth ranch. The library will be there. So there's some little projects you could help out with. So be kind tomorrow and every day, and together we can start a chain of kindness in our community and beyond. Also tomorrow, I'll just mention in case you're sniffing around for us, tomorrow's our annual all-city employee meeting when we're all going to sneak away for a few hours to the Galaxy Event Center for some motivational keynote speeches and some just team building type activities and a lunch together. And it's just, we do it once a year. And so City Hall will be closed tomorrow morning, but it will open for business at approximately 1 p.m. So if you're looking for us and you think, where did those boogers go? We're all together celebrating our annual meeting. I left you a few sheets on your desk. They're kind of in reverse order. The activity guide for summer came out a few days ago, and we opened registration for camps and swim lessons and some of our most popular things. It was a gangbusters day. I won't tell you the dollar amount, but it was stunning. And everything practically filled up instantaneously. There are a few slots for some swim lessons. And if we hire a few more camp counselors, we might be able to add a couple more kids to each of our day camps. But there's still plenty of other classes and activities and even senior excursions that you could find inside the activity guide. Then public art dedication. As you'll recall, we have some new public art pieces in Chateau Park that's meant to give it a little bit of a theme and make it a little more distinctive. It's kind of pollinators and native plants. And so we'll be celebrating that on April 21st from 4 to 5 with remarks at 4:30. If you come a little early, we're going to have a little flower planting project where families can plant little sunflower seeds or lazy Susans just to keep with the theme. So we'd love to see you there. We'll have a few little snackies. So that's always fun. And then you're also invited, if you've never joined us before, this is a fun one. Arbor Day, we usually celebrate with a different school within the West Ada School District. On May 6th, which is a Tuesday afternoon at 1:30, we'll be over at Hillsdale Elementary and we'll join the students and talk a little bit about how fabulous trees are. And we'll literally plant a tree on their playground or property. And at that time, the City Meridian also celebrates its Growth Award, Tree City USA designation, and its new Tree City of the USA Award. And there'll be a proclamation read. So we do this in conjunction with the Arbor Day Foundation. And we might have little saplings to give away. Saplings, is that the word? Saplings, little baby trees. I call them baby trees. That's it for now, and then we've got Memorial Day sneaking up and our Unplug and Be Outside play date. It's May 10th. So it's going to come fast and furious once we get started. But these are the few I'd like to call your attention to now. Any comments, questions, concerns, anything at all? Okay, you're always welcome to attend or to help out. Oh, yes.
Anything from the commission?
I just wanted to ask on the Arbor Day
Yes.
piece. So who's doing the proclamation reading and what's it for?
I think usually it's the mayor. Oh, have we got him roped in? I think we've got him. It should be the mayor will read it and some of our Parks and Rec leaders are there, and then the school principal, and they usually have some students join us, and they actually get to we get them a little head start on the hole and the tree, but they get to throw some dirt and we usually do some tree trivia. Steve's usually the MC. So it's kind of cute. It's like a little school assembly celebrating trees. We always say, yay, trees.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you might want to help out on any of these or attend or have questions, you can always just ask me and I'll get you hooked up.
Thank you,
Is
Shelley.
that good for now?
Absolutely.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, yes,
No
Commissioner Bobo.
questions, but just glad to see you, Shelley.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
It's good to be seen after what I've been through. So yes, I'm doing so much better.
Good.
I hope to keep getting better.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shelley. We do not have any old business on the agenda. Our first item under the new business, volunteer appreciation presentation by Steve Sidaway.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Well, what are we in? April. April is Volunteer Appreciation Month, and we appreciate you. So we have for you at each of your stations a thank you card, as well as a lunch bag that for each of you that we're just a little something to say thank you. So we appreciate all the time that you put in here and to help us do what we do right. And the ideas that we bounce off of you, the feedback that you give us, it truly does make a difference. So thank you very much. And I hope that you will enjoy the small token of our appreciation.
Thank you, Steve. And of course, we appreciate being able to work with you and our community on this commission. Our next item for tonight is Discovery Park Community Garden Update by Chris Burkirk. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited to be standing in front of you today to talk a little bit about a new project that was put in last year at Discovery Park called the Discovery Co-op Garden. It's run by a collective of Meridian gardeners. As you probably already know and have had Julie Bokenkamp stand before you, she runs the Glenner Park Garden. I participated with that garden for about 3 to 4 years and got some experience over there before leaving them and doing some things on my own. I came back to gardening when Steve offered a position out at Discovery at the ribbon cutting where he said, hey, we're still looking for a coordinator. And it sounded pretty interesting to me. So a little bit background about myself. I also work for the city of Meridian. I'm a firefighter paramedic. I actually happen to be a captain at Station 7, which is co-located at Discovery Park. So there's some unique benefits that I have being employed out there. You know, if we have a problem in the garden, whatever, I have the leeway of being able to go over and check on that if I need to, if I'm on duty. So I really love that. But I want to make clear that my position as a coordinator is completely volunteer. I've raised my hand to say that I will do it. And I say that because we had some challenges between being a city employee and being a volunteer for the city. But, you know, with Mike's help, we were able to get through some of those. And so anyhow, here we are. So this is the garden space. These are our two scare cows that we named Stella and Daisy. We wanted to tie a little bit of Meridian's history into the Discovery Park and our garden space. These were two cows that were created for dairy days where we dressed them up and put them out. We used those at the firehouse a couple of times and they were in storage and I drug them out of storage. So we use them in the garden now and it's kind of fun. So who are we? We're a group of about 15 to 30 families of all ages, different backgrounds, different religions, different experiences. We do have some very experienced gardeners and we have other gardeners who didn't even know a radish grew in the ground. So we have the full gamut of folks. We have a passion for growing items and our vegetables and nourishing our bodies with you know, those vegetables and fruits that come out of the garden. And we're also very committed to helping native pollinators. I just showed this slide here just to show to you that we are gaining some traction and notoriety, I guess, in the community. This is Ali Tripke from Channel 6 News, came out, did a piece on us last year when we were just getting started. She's very interested in, you know, community happenings, and anytime I can bring her out and share our story, I try to do that. So we currently care for the Discovery Co-op Garden space located at Discovery Park. We do have some hopes in the future to maybe help out with a pollinator garden that's located at Discovery Park, as well as a Xeriscape Firewise garden, and hopefully in the future maybe a food forest with some fruit trees. Those are all plans that I have rattling around in my head as I think about how can we grow these open spaces. So it seems like it would be a natural fit for us to be able to do some of those things as well. Here's a map of where the garden is located. Essentially, it's just north of the maintenance shop, or you know, just south of where the pickleball and tennis courts are. It's a nice little pocket that's hidden from most of the public, which is a benefit to us because we don't get so many people coming into the garden and stealing our food, which is good. But we also want to encourage, you know, the community to come and share the space with us as well. We call it the gnome's hat because it kind of looks like that. And so it's kind of funny when we're doing the planning, it's kind of interesting how you would break this space up into, you know, areas that we can garden efficiently. But yeah, it's a great space. It's 0.4 acres. Right in the park. And I really want to thank not only this commission, but the Parks and Rec administration that really had the forethought to put this into the phase 2 build out of Discovery Park. Thinking about these open spaces and how important it is for us to get communities and have people visit our parks is pretty important. And like I like to say, you know, there's something for everybody to discover at Discover Park, and our community garden is one of those things. So this is kind of our vision and motto, planning a healthier tomorrow for our families and our community. These are two of the kids that garden with us. I show this picture because it really goes to show that we have, you know, walks of life, and we really have an opportunity to share with the kids where their food comes from and have an educational component as well. So yeah, we try to promote that healthy lifestyle, grow relationships and community. We're growing fruits and vegetables, herbs, flowers, and other plants for pollinators. And we harvest that food not only for our own families, the membership of our own families, but for the Meridian Food Bank as well. And this next year, we're hoping to increase those donations and maybe be able to offer some to the CUNA Food Bank as well. These are just the purposes. This is mainly just for us to keep us on track of, you know, why we exist. You know, we're here to grow food, but also, you know, promote that healthy lifestyle, raise awareness for sustainable agriculture. Education is a huge part of what we want to do. Strengthening the sense of community, as I've already said, and then just be inclusive and provide gardening spaces for those with disabilities. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to try to accomplish that. I love this picture. These rascals right here. The one on the left is my son. He's a great helper in the garden, but all three of them have just harvested a corn cob from our garden, and they're now gnawing down on these pieces of corn. And I believe one of the girls said, "I've never tasted corn like this before." Well, of course, you know, it's very fresh. It's coming right out of the garden, and we've put a lot of love into growing those corn cobs for sure. These were our goals and mission for 2024 as we were trying to get started in this space. Like I said, it was part of phase 2 development, and we were left with a blank canvas over there. So we had to install infrastructure over there for the garden, which included agreements with the city and HR and legal. Nonprofit group had to establish that. Got a shed donated by the city to us, water irrigation. We had to break up the zones, and then eventually we're hoping to add this ADA garden space and a sensory garden. We're going to focus this year on sensory garden at the end of our rows. So those with autism and other sensory issues can come to the garden, touch, feel, taste, smell, and be part of the garden, and incorporate those people with disabilities into our space and really try to educate and help them too. We're all about creating these networks of volunteers and community groups. We work with the Ada County Work Release Program to do some of our hard labor in the space. We had 2 full days of work last year from the Ada County Sheriff's Detail, which really helped reduce a lot of our hard work, such as laying out wood chips or doing the weeding, you know, some of those tasks that are tedious that we don't like to do. Yeah, so that's a great partnership. Of course, a partnership with the Meridian Food Bank, and then I'll talk at the end about some sponsors that we've gotten for our group. And then I've already mentioned that we harvest for our families and we share with the food banks. 2024 is an amazing year. So as you can see, I'm standing in a sunflower patch here that we grew. This is Adam on the left-hand side out there with our rows. We've tried to mark each one of our rows with what we're growing to help with that educational component. And it's really kind of cool. You know, you can come out and take a walk in the garden space. You go, oh, that's a cauliflower, or oh, that's, you know, I didn't know that's what a tomato looked like, you know, or whatever. So it's pretty awesome that we can do that. And then these are our gardeners. I may today in the presentation say I or me a lot. I don't mean to say that because I can't do it without these folks and the support of them. And this is really where the community comes in and is part of this. And I can't say enough about these people and their love of the garden space and being able to do the things that we do. As you can see, they're all smiling. That's probably just because it's in the picture, because I work them pretty hard in the garden space. When it's 105 degrees and it's hot and sway, maybe we're not smiling all the time. Just more photos of us in the garden space. Again, I couldn't do it without them. And if you're interested, this could be a space for you as well. I'm always looking for new members in the space. But as you can see, I really put a lot of value on the people that are our members in the space. We garden on Wednesday evenings, 6:30 to 9, and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. So I'll be leaving this commission meeting, going straight to the garden, and we're getting started. Our first session, our first gardening was last Saturday, so we're kicking the season off already. How and why we garden, obviously it's for the community, and the way that we garden out there is much like the Kleiner Park. It's a communal garden space where we all garden the space together. It's not like we rent out a box or you're in charge of a box. We found that model to be very successful because everybody has a little piece of ownership in the whole garden, and you get to choose what you want to do in the garden space. Also, if you rent out those spaces as you would think a community garden, if somebody doesn't show up, then the coordinator or somebody else has to pick up after that space. Last year, we lost 3 members in the late season. Thankfully, I was able to pick those members up, and there wasn't much of a labor problem that I had in later seasons. So this communal model that we've come up with seems to work very efficiently and is what we have found to work the best. This is kind of what the early spring looks like. A lot of dirt, picking rocks. If you have a appetite for rocks, I got plenty of rocks for you out in the space. A lot of moving dirt, moving wood chips. A lot of hard work is going in early spring, and you really don't see the benefit of your hard work for a couple of months until those harvests are ready to come off. And this is what our harvests look like. As you can see, we have a little bit of everything out in the garden space. This picture here with the melons, we also share our garden with rodents, and that's just a part of gardening in an open space like this. Part of the phase 2 development is we've interrupted some habitat for the voles and gophers out there. So the park has been challenged with that problem, and they can effectively do a lot of great things in the park space. But when it comes into the garden, I try not to use anything but organics in there. And so I don't want poisons and traps and those sorts of things. So what I found last year is I'm just going to feed the voles and the gophers a portion of our melons and let them have those in hopes that they'll stay away from others. But those are some of the challenges that we see in an open space like this. Again, just some harvest photos here. How wonderful and how much food we really do get off of the community garden. This is the clean out at the end of the year. It's kind of a sad point for us because we've really built that community, and we're going to say goodbye to folks for a few months through the winter. But it is a hard working day where we have to tear everything down. We want to leave that space looking fairly pristine for the winter time for the parks, and they don't have to worry about that. So all the infrastructure has to come out. The water headers and the drip lines have to come out. The T-posts and all the trellising work has to come out, so it's pretty hard work. And then last year, this is me with a chipper. I'm literally chipping up all the green plants that were in the garden to try to create some organic compost right in the space and reuse those things instead of sending them off to the trash. It's so much more than a garden, as I've already said. It's all about community. Sorry, I'm fumbling around here. And it's a lot about the kids and educating. We love to see them out in the garden space, and man, it's just great to hear the kids giggling over in the zucchini patch when they're finding the squash bugs, or they find a worm and they're throwing it at each other. Or our last day in the garden, we're taking down the tomatoes and we're playing green tomato baseball in the space, hitting green tomatoes in the space. So it's pretty fun. Just an opportunity for us to really grow our future gardeners. Again, with education, we've partnered with the Meridian Library District, and we've helped create a seed library at the Pinnacle Library, which is new in South Meridian. And then I had an opportunity to go on the Zamzows podcast and be able to share our story a little bit with them. They're a great partner to us in donating some of their products and seeds to us for use in the garden space. Just some flowers that we also grow. It's not all about the food. It's also about creating habitat for those pollinators, such an important piece. If we don't watch our habitat and provide those spaces, we could easily lose those pollinators, and a big portion of those pollinators do a lot of heavy work for us in pollinating, for our fruits and vegetables. I already talked a little bit about the sensory garden, but we're excited this year to expand this. We're going to put it at the end of our rows and try to have some educational material there and educate folks on what that really is for. Also, we understand that those plants that are going to be in those spaces are plants that can be destroyed if that happens. I'm not going to be upset if somebody, rips a plant out or whatever. That's what it's there for. I want to make sure that we're inclusive to everybody and provide that space to help maybe with a little bit of therapy in the garden space as well. These are just the pollinator projects that are going on. We hope to maybe help out the city Parks and Rec Department with the pollinator garden that's currently out there at Discovery Park, and maybe grow that. And then a little bit, I've partnered with North End Organic Nursery in Lindsay down there with what I call a tree raiser. Basically, we're asking if you want to donate to our space, buy a tree for us, or a bush, a fruit bush or something like that, so that we can grow that. They've been gracious enough to kind of keep track of that for us, so that when we're ready, we'll be able to go down there and have, a budget and be able to shop. So we're kind of building that partnership with them for maybe, future expansions. And then, I wanted to make sure that I invited you to come out and garden with us. Is this for you? Are you passionate about gardening, your community, helping others, or having fun? On the left is a ticket from the Meridian Food Bank. One of our larger donations, 297 pounds was donated that day, which is quite a bit for us in the first year. I was pretty happy with the amount. And matter of fact, in total, we donated over 1 ton of food to the Meridian Food Bank last year. It was below what I wanted to, but I had pretty high expectations for myself in this space. But I feel like we did really well last year. These are all of our sponsors and donors that help us out. Simplot Grower Solution donated 2,000 pounds of gypsum for amendment in the soil out there to try to break through the clay soil that we're having problems with and try to get some of the water through the soil out there. Obviously, I've mentioned Zamzows. Timber Creek Recycling has donated, it was like 20 yards of wood chip material that we put in our rows for weed suppression and adding organic matter back into the garden space. Snake River Seed gave us a couple hundred packets of seed. Down in Dirty Tractor Works, that's a business that I own. I own a tractor, and we use a lot of the tractor in the space and rototilling and breakdown. You probably saw that in a few of the photos. And then again, North End Organic Nursery as a partner and maybe a little bit of raising funds and direct purchase of some plants and stuff from them. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say the City of Meridian. They've been a huge partner for us. They've added the infrastructure for the water. Last year, I think it was close to $8,000 worth of work that they put in just for the water and the irrigation. They've given us the shed, and then I have at my beck and call, I can call Mike or Jeremy and say, hey, I got an issue. Can you help me out? And they've been absolutely awesome in being able to help us out. So I can't say enough about the support that I get from the City of Meridian. Parks and Rec. And then just at last, just a couple of Snapple fun facts. It's 0.4 acres. I think I mentioned that. The $8,000 for the water out there. 50 yards of recycle, reuse, repurposed wood chips were utilized for ground cover, pathways, and garden border. So we've not taking that to the landfill. We're reusing that in the garden space and helping us break that down into compost and good soil. We operate on about a $600 budget a year. I ask our members to pay $50 just to pay for tools, fertilizer, seeds, those sorts of things. Pretty small budget for what we're doing. Again, 1 ton of food was donated to Meridian Food Bank. The gypsum was applied. We currently have 12 members and we're looking for many more. I would hope that we can get up to about that 20 to 30 range. But that's about the number that we did last year. So I know it's doable. It just makes it a lot harder. Again, the alternative sentencing assisted with 2 full work days, and I got them 1 work day scheduled already for this next year. And there were 6 killed there birds that were born in the spring in the garden, and we already have a nest out there with 4 eggs. You can see them as a little bit of a challenge because they like to plant their egg beds right where I need to work. And they're like, no, I'm not going to allow you to do that. So we try to work around them. That's all I have for the presentation. I hope that met the need and it was exciting for you as much as it was for me to be here. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Chris. A few years back, kind of in my early years on the commission, when I found out Discovery Park with the phase 2 was going to begin drafting plans and designs, my first question was, are we going to have a new co-op garden? Are we going to have a new community garden? And personally, as I told Julie, if I could get one in every regional park in the city of Meridian, that would be, I'd call that a win for every situation. But thank you for your report. It was incredible. I'm happy to see the growth and the quick progress you guys have made in such a short time. Do we have any questions or comments, Commissioner Bobo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple questions for you.
Yes.
First, awesome presentation. I'm excited to see. I admittedly haven't been out and seen that garden yet. I want to. As far as the volunteers go, do you have to be able to commit to every Wednesday and every Saturday?
So
or can you take a part-time volunteer?
That's a great question, and thanks for that. What I tell them at sign-up time is these are the times that I kind of expect you to be there. We all have families, we all have commitments, we all have the things. I understand that, we're going to go on vacations in the summertime. I would like to say that I'm pretty flexible in that. But I try to put that ownership back on them and say, look, take the time away from the garden that you need. Just try to make that time up in other times that maybe we're not there. So come out on a Tuesday and pick some weeds, or spend a little extra time on a Saturday doing some of the extra projects. So I try to be pretty flexible with that just because I know that it is a community and we all have things that we have to do.
Okay, good to know. Secondly, how does it compare in size to the Kleiner Park?
It's pretty close to the same size to Kleiner Park. The orientation is just a little bit more challenging, where Kleiner Park's kind of laid out in an S shape and it's really great for the rows. This space is more of a wider and long space, and so I have to break that up, and we've broken that up into 5 separate zones out there.
Thank you.
Commissioner Helms.
Thank you, Chris. Great job presentation. I mean, I've been out to this park many times and I've noticed what you've done out there before, and it just really adds to it. It's a fantastic park anyway. I had a question about whether or not a lot of the participants and members that do a lot of them come from the neighbors right there or not?
I think I only have 2 that are from the neighbors right there. What's challenging about that is that I get the feeling that some of the neighbors think that we're growing it for them. And unfortunately last year, and you may have heard this from Julie, one of our challenges is trying to keep the produce in there and not have it walk off. Last year, every single one of our watermelons walked off. And so I was a little discouraged by that, but we were there on a Wednesday night and we're like, oh, they're almost ready. We'll harvest them on Saturday. We showed up Saturday and they were all gone. It's the risk that we take, and I'm okay with that risk. And I just have to tell myself that, that person also needed food. And so, I hope that they enjoy that. I'd prefer that they not and come put in the hard work to get it to that space, but it is a risk that we take.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there a sign at all explaining it?
Yeah, we had smaller signs about this big surrounding the whole space that said, this space is gardened by the Meridian Co-op gardeners. Please do not harvest. People are people.
Mhm.
That's some of the things that we get to deal with. Yeah.
Commissioner Dennington.
Yes, thank you for a great presentation. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
The food looks so good, it makes me really hungry because it really looks wonderful. But I had a couple of questions. The first question was on the education piece. Do you educate what they're eating as how it connects to their bodies, the healthy part of their bodies? If you eat these vegetables, this is good for your eyes, this is good for your general health, or is there any kind of education like that?
I wouldn't say necessarily like a formal education, but as we're in the garden and we're creating those relationships, with them and also visitors to Discovery Park, we get lots of questions and we're sharing that information. And, I may not know that information, but that's what's great about having a community do it, because somebody in my garden space will know some of those things. So not a formal education, but just through relationships and discussing as we're planting, as we're harvesting, those things come up. Also, like, hey, I've never seen kohlrabi before. How do I prepare this? What does it taste like? How do I preserve it? Those sorts of things. And then we get into much more bigger conversations. How do I take this food and store it and have it through the winter? That's part of the educational component of our members, but not only just our members, but the community that comes in to see what we're doing there too.
Okay, perfect. One of the other things was on the fruit trees. Do you have specific kinds that you want? I have a Santa Rosa plum in my backyard, but it's not a fruit that, it doesn't last. It's something once it's kind of ripened, it's not going to sit. That's why it doesn't get sold in the stores. But what do you look for specific things that just have a kind of a longer shelf life, I guess, if you want to say that?
Yeah, I would defer to Lindsay down at North End Organic Nursery to help us choose those. We haven't really got to that stage yet. Again, it's a dream of mine, and just it helps me with planning, and I get to have those conversations with staff on, hey, can we put these in? Where can we put them in? Will they fit? Those sorts of things. So we haven't quite got to that stage yet. I do have an orchard on my own personal property, so I have some preferences myself. Nectarines, apples, cherries. But there are some things that you have to think about when you put them in an open space like that. I spoke to John, the head guy out at Discovery Park. He's like, hey, I'm concerned about cherries dropping, and now I have a mess, and I have to put labor into that to clean that up. So that's a consideration that we have to make for that. He said, I don't want the apples and the peaches ending up on the tennis court. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So those are some of the concerns that, as we work back and forth to getting that, maybe that space where the garden space isn't great for that, but maybe in the future we can find somewhere in phase 3 or somewhere that may fit in, not necessarily right there in the garden. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any additional questions?
Mr. Chair?
Oh, yes, Steve.
Chris, I want to give you my thanks, and I want to give you some kudos, because when I heard that you were interested in running the garden, I went, firefighter, paramedic, and gardening, do those go together?
Knuckle dragger, does he have the
I
smarts to
wasn't
do
sure
it?
what to expect, and the uncertainty went away when I went out there last summer and took my first look at the garden. What you guys have been doing out there is remarkable and amazing, especially for its first year. I know you have, just getting off the ground, it looked like it was year 5 to me. So exceeded my expectations. kudos for what you're doing out there. I hope you're here for a long time. If we are able to find anyone interested, how do we get them in contact with you? What's the right contact information? And I'm saying this collectively so that we can take notes.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, a public Facebook page. You can go on there. There's a sign up button. It'll send you to a Google form where you can put your information in. And then I check that weekly and I'll get back to you and invite you out to the space, kind of run you through an orientation and see if it's going to be a right fit for you and a right fit for us as well.
And is the Facebook page Meridian Co-op Gardeners or Discovery Park Garden, or what's the name of it?
Thank you. It's Meridian Co-op Gardeners, Discovery Park.
Okay, thank you.
And if I could, Steve, your staff has been great. Thanks for the help and the support. It really does take a community to have a community garden.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
No other questions. Chris, thank you so much, and we'll let you get out and enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item, Parks Maintenance Division update from Jeremy Aldrich.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I just wanted to take a minute and introduce Jeremy. I don't know if I don't think Jeremy's been here to present before, but Roger's last day was about a week ago. And so Jeremy has been promoted to fill the maintenance manager position that Roger previously held. Jeremy's been with the Parks Department for 19 or 20 years. Started out as a seasonal. He left for a little while to become a police officer and figured out that that wasn't maybe his calling. So then he came back to work for the Parks Department and has been doing an amazing job ever since. And so anyway, Jeremy Aldrich.
Congratulations, Jeremy.
Thank you.
And we have seen Jeremy, I think, either with Roger at the bus tour or at the golf course at Lakeview. We have seen you. We haven't been formally introduced to the commission, but the floor is yours.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I was going to say I have been around a while, as Mike put out there. It's been great. I started actually. They asked me if I would quickly introduce myself, and he did most of it for me, and then give a quick park update. We, oops, I guess it looks like it already jumped ahead. Yeah. As Mike suggested or mentioned there, Roger, after 16 years, just retired, and I moved into his position. And a little bit about myself, I actually started here when I was in college, pursuing a green or horticulture industry degree. And so Elroy Huff, which maybe a few of you had heard of, he was actually my first boss and hired me when I was after my first year of college. And Mike said, I've kind of come in and out, and I ended up landing here, and it's been a great blessing to myself and my family, and a great opportunity to learn and grow. I actually posted a quick picture of my family. I have four boys and a girl in that order. So I do stay busy. They do like to play sports. So I see a lot of baseball, wrestling, cross country, track, and try every sport. But I don't have a long time to present everything. We got so much stuff to do in the maintenance side of things here in the Parks Department. We stay busy. With the warmer weather, the people have been coming out of the woodwork again. All the sports are in swing, soccer and baseball. Our staff has remained the same. This year, we still have 22 full-time employees, and that's counting the arborist as well. Our 2024 seasonal positions compared to our 2025 seasonal positions are down due to some budget constraints and things. We're looking at only this year actually having 12 seasonal positions and 6 summer positions. So about half, just under half the summer position. So we were running really lean this year. And so it's, we'll make it though. We always do. But thank you to all the teamwork and the guys doing things out in the parks. One of those things that helps us get along and get some of these projects done is our volunteers, like yourselves and Chris and so many others that volunteer within the community. This month, I forgot that it was actually Volunteer Appreciation Month, but it seems like this month is a big month for folks calling in to volunteer. Several schools, which we've worked with over the years, come every year. Meridian Technical Charter School is one of those that's done projects for us for 10 plus years. They come out and they actually just did a project. Maybe I'll back up just quickly. This picture is City Hall a week or so ago. A group of folks from the New Hope Rehabilitation Center came and donated some service, and they actually put some bark up here in the front beds of City Hall and kind of dressed those up. That was last week. And just yesterday, we had 60 high school kids from Meridian Technical Charter, and they spread about 100 yards of bark yesterday along the split corridor on the east side of the road. The west side is a little more challenging and requires some lane closures because we don't have access through all the businesses there, but they were able to help us on this side, which is great. And again, there's many other schools and groups that come. Some of the challenges we run into though with the volunteer projects is we don't always have a project for every single group and every single person. Sometimes it's hard to come up with something to do for 120 people for 2 hours. So it does come with challenges, but a couple of other future projects here in the works right now, and actually groups that have been assigned to, is the Story Rose Garden area there at Story Park by the flagpole. And they'll put in a little bit of bark around that and actually linseed oil the fence and do some little maintenance tasks for us that they can do. And that one actually worked out really well. I think they're going to do it. They're looking to have their children involved and actually come out as a family. And so great opportunities to teach the youngsters how to serve and be part of the community. There's another one here. I have a picture of just a portion of the parking lot at the Settlers Park, MYB. Those beds are actually, we're working on trying to dig them out a little bit, get them 3 or 4 inches down and freshen it up with some new rock and things. It's getting pretty thin and mixed in with all the dirt that's currently there. Jumped a few here. As in the parks business and in the maintenance side of things, of course, vandalism and those kinds of things are pretty, sometimes they come in shifts, groups. Just recently, we've kind of had a bit of a rush of it. A couple of restrooms literally were hit one day. We painted. We went one day, and on a Saturday, they was back. Same type of artist work. So we do get some of those things that we're always working on, and we try to, we pretty much have a zero tolerance. So that kind of takes a priority over a lot of the stuff we do, and just kind of ruins things for folks. Some of the other things that you've probably seen are, things like sprinklers that get kicked off and things like that. Maybe this was 2 of the most recent irrigation as we're running around turning on irrigation water and getting things ready for the season. A vehicle bent one of them over, and on one of these slides, actually, we couldn't even find the backflow device. I don't know where it went, but they completely flattened it. So it was probably a vehicle or something. So things happen. One of our newest trends, though, it seems to be issues with e-bikes, electric bikes and things. This is a couple pictures of e-bikes going into our restrooms and then doing burnouts and things. And I know it seems kind of silly, but once they put that bike in there, once they put the bike in there and burn through that, sometimes it's easy and we can just wipe up the tire marks, but that heat sometimes, if they sit there too long, they'll actually burn through the epoxy floor, which starts to really cost a chunk of money to replace or fix. So we've actually started to do some of our own epoxy repairs to reduce some of those costs because it is quite costly. Our parking lot and pathway maintenance is underway right now with the week or two of good weather that we had before the little bit of rain. We actually, one of our vendors and contractors that we bid out, actually at Story Park, completed over 5,947 feet of crack fill. And at Heroes Park, it was 9,240 feet of crack fill. So a little bit more crack fill than we originally had budgeted or thought we had. But it's amazing once you get out there and start filling the cracks, how far that is. That's about 1.75 miles at Heroes. So parking lot maintenance is important though, because by putting in the money now and trying to save that parking lot, hopefully we can extend the lifespan of that for many more years. Some of our completed and upcoming projects, the Locust Grove Roundabout, I know Roger brought that up last year in a presentation. It is completed just recently, and so it is landscaped. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm just going to bounce through some different projects. Chateau Park it has got a new entry sign, and so some work was done there. Parks crew had to convert this from, it was actually just turf with a small little portion for annual flowers. And that's still the original old sign there. But we actually separated it from the irrigation that was currently in it because it was running with grass, turned it into its own zone, had to dig up the main line, find some wires and that kind of stuff, and prep it for what it is now. And so that'll be happening, as Shelley mentioned earlier, here coming up in April 21st for a grand opening. So some great little fun projects like that. Fuller Park, getting some new field armor mats there on the 3 fields there. We actually currently have them in all our fields. It really helps on the maintenance and on the holes if you're a baseball player and like to dig. It helps. So that was another project. Fuller Well, there you can see just the picture of the wellhead sticking out of the ground. That was done. Completed. Fuller Sidewalk, now pedestrian access from the street into the park. That's just wrapped up recently, and you can kind of see that in there. Another little project to work on there at Fuller is right along the pond edge between the shop and the pond. That edge is kind of degraded and sloped and fairly thin. So we're looking to actually put one more little row of rock. I shouldn't say little rock, but big enough boulders that people aren't going to move, and kind of shore up that bank a little bit and fill that up so the ground will be level with the pathway there. It won't slope off. I'll let you know, it's amazing, the daredevils, they like to ride their little bike right along the edge of that rock, and you can see their tracks. Surprised none have gone in the pond yet. But, Heroes Park, recently, the Daughters of the American Revolution had a ceremony there. It was a great experience, and I was fortunate enough to attend it. And now a 250th celebration plaque is now mounted there for hopefully forever at Heroes Park. So there's a quick picture of that. In partnership with MYB, or Meridian Youth Baseball, this winter the parks crew installed several pieces of artificial turf in front of fields 1 through 5. And this is in the area in front of the pitcher mound that tends to wear out due to excessive traffic from the pitchers. And so Meridian Youth Baseball, actually, we were hoping, or because of our budget, I was hoping to just do 1 or 2, but they were so excited to get this done that they actually purchased the material if we would install it. And so we were able to do all 5 fields. So there's a couple pictures there of what that looks like. Also, a little bit of new lava fines or warning track material on fields 1 and 2. So these are just some great little projects. Another one with MYB, in partnership with them, to increase dugout safety and mishaps from fly balls and perhaps teammates not paying attention. I've seen coaches take one in the bucket they're sitting on too, so it saves everybody, I guess. Another one that we're looking forward to upgrading this year is the Kleiner Park bocce courts. That's another little project that'll happen. These are the existing current ones. They're kind of wavy, and they've been there since the installation of the park. And so they'll be getting a little upgrade and new artificial turf there. And then just some other little projects that the guys worked on. And and that about wraps it up. Do you guys have any questions on the parks maintenance side of things?
Thank you, Jeremy. I do have a few questions. I'll kind of go in order. I noticed that at Story Bark Park, we have a security cam above the entrance of the restroom. Is that a consideration unless they're already there for those restrooms that are that you are noticing are being vandalized?
Yeah, so we actually have cameras in front of almost every single one of our buildings currently. And they actually help us a lot with catching malicious or nefarious acts, however you want to look at it. And they've actually been a great, we have police department reaches out to us to use them for things that they're working on that we didn't even know about sometimes, just in hopes that perhaps we have a camera angled at the parking lot where something went down. So they've been a great, they come at a cost to maintain and keep going, but I think the benefit is well worth it.
Right. And I mean, yeah, it just surprised some of the pictures that I saw that you posted in there seemed like fairly new restrooms. I mean, even I would go so far as to say as some of the restrooms maybe at Discovery Park in phase 2 is what some of those looked like from how new the paint looked on the restroom.
That was probably because they painted it the day before and they just did it the next day. But yeah.
My next question is for the parking lots. Now, as far as jurisdiction goes, are we seeing that it is more cost effective to do the crack fills versus, the crack fills seem more like maybe a short-term solution versus what would the cost be to have that entire parking lot maybe repaved in general? Is that something that we would have to partner with ACHD on, or is that something that we have control over ourselves?
So most of the parking lots, they're going to require some maintenance,
Right.
regardless to extend the life. It's a cost. I don't even know what the cost would be to replace one of those parking lots off the top of my head, but you're hundreds of thousands versus $3,000 to crack fill it. And the issue is trying to keep the water. So the even seal coating is good when it's due, but keeping the cracks sealed so the water over the winter can't get in there and freeze and thaw and cause more damage is the goal there.
And my final question to you is I also sit on my HOA's board, and we just had our board meeting last night. We are looking to potentially replace some trees out and around the area of Chateau and Locust Grove that some of them look like they're sick or they may be needing replaced. What is I guess, is that something that the Parks Department would be in direct communication with, being that it is, I guess, on a main road, being on the Locust Grove Chateau, not so much into the residential area, but right there on that corner for those tree replacements? Or is that something that the HOA has to kind of independently do itself?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
It's not going to be the Parks Department.
Sure.
I can tell you that. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Do we have any additional questions for Jeremy? Yes, Commissioner Bobo.
No questions, just comments. Parks are beautiful. You do an excellent job. Whenever we have family and friends come to town, they love the parks, especially, oddly enough, the bathrooms. I know you had pictures of the tagging, but I often get compliments about how clean our bathrooms are. So you guys do an excellent job. I just wanted to recognize what an amazing job you do on keeping the parks clean and beautiful and well-maintained and all of that. That's it.
Commissioner Bobo, Commissioner Helms.
Thank you. I just want to duplicate what she was saying. It's just the parks are a lot of maintenance, I know. But, I've mentioned before, I grew up in some large cities where most parks are look like crime scenes. And again, you can't fix stupid. Kids and adults and whoever will make crazy things in parks or in the bathroom. So anyway, I just want to say thank you. And by the way, I was at Fuller Park this morning, and that entranceway was all done there, so that looked pretty good. So
And Commissioner Dennington? Oh, no questions? All right. Hearing no other further questions, comments, Jeremy, thank you. Appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
and congratulations on the new
Yes,
job.
congratulations. All right, our next item, Fields District Future Park Update from Parks Director Steve Sidway.
Thank you. Well, I've been giving you snippets during my staff reports in the past, but I've been promising a full-fledged update, and so I'm pleased that today's the day. So the Fields District is an area up in Northwest Meridian, and we have an opportunity to purchase some property for a future park. The park site is kind of starred there on the left, and kind of zoomed out just for some perspective. I did label Hawaii High School because it's about a mile to the west and a little bit north of Hawaii High School. In terms of, this is Canada Road. If you, I assume is my mouse showing up for you guys? The top of this map up here is Chinden. The closest major crossroad through here is McMillan, and then down here is Ustick. So that's about a 2-mile swath by a few. So anyway, that gets you kind of an orientation. And zooming out even further, you'll remember I came before you last fall and kind of give a big picture overview of our future parks. And the Fields District Park is this one up here up in far northwest Meridian. That is one that we've had on our radar and hoping to bring to fruition, and it's happening, which I'm very excited about. So this is, when you zoom in at the park property itself, this is its shape. It's planned to have a collector road. This road doesn't exist today, but a future collector along its west boundary. I'll describe the colors just a little bit. The green outline is the future park outline boundary. The triangle that's in yellow there is a little bit of land that will become part of the park from Intermountain Gas, which is the property to the southwest. And the little blue piece on the bottom is part of the Hawaii Holdings property that would actually then go to Intermountain Gas because it's on their side of that future road. So the total acreage of the park property itself is about 40.8 acres. In fact, I think that's my next slide. So here's the highlights. We'd be getting about 39.9, about 40 acres from Hawaii Holdings. They're a large landowner that's developing the subdivisions north and east of there. We'd be getting just less than an acre from Intermountain Gas. So total park site is 40.8, just under 41 acres. The cost, which is a great deal for us, I'm going to start with that. The $3.9 million would be the purchase price for Hawaii Holdings, but the market value of that land is over $7 million. So the difference of about over $3 million, it will be considered a donation to the city of Meridian and is a savings to our budget. That is a very generous donation from them. The Intermountain Gas, that's just a small piece. It's $168,000, and there's no donation value there. They're an entity that, they need to sell at fair market value, and so there's been an appraisal, and we'll be purchasing at fair market value from them. So the total cost is just over $4 million. And I wanted to point out that those are park impact fees, not tax dollars that are going to purchase the land. As the development pays park impact fees, they are collected for purchasing parkland like this, as well as developing parkland like we're going to do at the Settlers Park expansion and the future community center. So the next steps, you have a packet of information. I just wanted to share with you what was going to council next Tuesday. So we will ask them to approve a budget amendment that includes the purchase price plus estimated closing costs. And then there's a couple of resolutions, one for the purchase and sale agreement for the land purchase with Hawaii Holdings and a separate one for the land purchase with Intermountain Gas. We are scheduled to close with the title company on April 30th, just in case something happens there. I mean, there are some extensions allowed for in the PSA, but this is pending council approval next week. This should be happening soon. So with that, I will stand for any questions. I'm excited to bring this to you tonight. I don't need any, this isn't an action item on your agenda, so I don't need a motion, but I would welcome any comments or feedback. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Do we have any questions from the commission? Commissioner Bobo.
2 questions. For those of us that are spatially challenged, how big of a park is this? What does it compare to other parkways?
Good question. So it's on the large size of a community park. It's smaller. So let me start with the big ones that you're probably familiar with.
Heroes Park?
Settlers, Kleiner are both just under 60 acres. And this one's 40. So it's 2/3 of a Settlers Park or 2/3 of a Kleiner Park. Do you know, anybody know what the size of Heroes Park is? Remember the acreage?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's about 30.
Okay, so bigger than Heroes.
Yeah.
I was going to say about 1.5 of Discovery Park Phase 1.
Phase
About
1,
20, 27.5 plus half of Phase 2.
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it'll be a good sized park.
Secondly, how long before we're gonna start developing on this
That's
lot?
a great question. It's a ways out. I think we have it starting design in our CFP about 5 years out, but take that as just the way the wind's blowing now. It's nothing set in stone. Every year, the dates in our CFP change based on new information. So it could push out farther based on the fact that we've learned that this is one of the last phases of the subdivision development that's bringing utilities and things. So TBD, but I'd say 5 to 10 years, roughly.
It'd be too early to even be thinking about, is it a playground? Is it a baseball park?
Yeah,
Is it
we're not designing it yet, but I do picture it
a
as
community garden?
an active park that will probably be seeking some partners, or it'll probably have could be a variety of partnerships out in a place like this. So but it'll be an active park, not just a we've talked about Margaret Aldape Park recently. That one will be very naturalistic, up by the river, mostly. That one will be pathways and existing trees and river access and that kind of thing. But this one will probably be more like a Tully or a Heroes or a one of those. An active park is kind of the vision we have for it now, but it's not designed. This is as far we are in the design and planning. So that'll be a feature.
All right, we'll look forward to it.
Commissioner Helms.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, a couple questions. One is that I see there's a drainage there facility. Is this going to connect, do you think, or be able to be attached into any of our future pathways? or-
Absolutely. Great question. So this is the confluence of a lot of, there's a lot going on here for both canals and let me just go to one of these. So this on the north side is 5 Mile Creek. So the same one that we've been riding on our bikes
Right.
will eventually connect right to this park. And it continues on to the west, sorry, to the east from here. This is west of the existing pathway. There is, I think this is the Phyllis Canal that wraps around it to the south. So there's quite a bit going on out there that way. And this will likely be some kind of a pedestrian bridge right now the main pathway, at least through this part of the subdivision on the east is on the north. So we may need a connection across the creek to get into the park, but
Some great
yes.
opportunity. So-
It's a great opportunity.
Okay, so do you know who the builders are, or do we buy this from a builder, a residential builder for this area to?
YE Holdings is the name of the group that is doing it, but who will be the actual builder of the homes? I don't know.
Okay, so, and my third and last question would be, it's interesting, I find it interesting, Intermountain Gas Company seems to own a pretty good sized property there.
You do.
And I'm kind of curious, being a former manager of the lands department for the gas company before, is there a switch station there, a substation, anything like that?
Yes.
Generation
So,
plant, but.
there is, this Intermountain Gas property to the southwest is one of their major holding tanks for natural gas.
Liquefied natural gas?
Yes.
Okay,
Liquefied natural gas. There's a big holding tank there. And then this property just to the, can't get my mouse to show up. Just to the immediate east is where the Williams pipeline, which runs through Discovery Park and also runs through West Meridian Park, runs right through the north edge of this, kind of on this angle. And this location here is where the mercaptan gets added to the natural gas before it goes out to the community.
put the odor
That
back
makes
in.
sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're welcome.
Any additional questions? Commissioner Dennington?
Thank you. Yeah, my question is regarding the impact fees. So it's the impact, obviously, if you're closing on 4:30, they need to get their money. So are there enough impact fees in there to do this purchase right now, or how does that all work?
Yeah, we have the money in the bank, ready to go.
Because we pulled out 350,000 for the community center design, correct?
We have about $20 million in impact fees right now, and we're saving up not only for this land purchase, but also the construction of the community center.
Perfect, thank you.
And that park expansion is part of that as well at Settlers. Yep.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we do not have any workshops tonight. Our last item on the agenda before adjournment will be our staff reports. Steve, would you like to lead the way on that as well?
I do. I think the main thing I want to focus on is our next meeting, which is on gotta find my note here, May 14th. That will be a behind the scenes tour that we've talked about previously. And so I just want to put out there for you so you know what to expect. We're going to meet at Settlers Park, and we will gather near the front pond by Meridian Road. So just find a parking spot in the main parking lot off of Meridian Road. we will gather near the pond next month, and we will do bring your walking shoes and hope for good weather. Usually good weather in mid-May, but we'll take you on a tour of several aspects of kind of everything from the maintenance side to the splash pad operations, things like that. We'll take you over to the maintenance shop and give you a little bit more of a deeper dive behind the scenes tour than you get on our bus tour in September. So I wanted to focus on that for my comments today. A lot still going on with budgets and looking forward to the upcoming art dedication and all those things that have already been talked about. But with that, I'll just stand for any questions.
Do we have any questions for Steve?
Okay.
Hearing none. Mike? Any?
Mr. Chair. So working on the restrooms at Lakeview, working on the Ustick Road corridor, the 3 miles of medians that are in different stages, and the agreements with ACHD, working on the 10-mile median landscaping replacement that's mostly dug out, and they're going to backfill with topsoil and repair irrigation and plant that. That project completely renovates that 10-mile road corridor landscaping. And then the Ninja course is underway, and the equipment is showing up on the 20th, and they'll start installing that, and then artificial grass and landscaping and stuff. So we're well underway with that. That's what I have, and I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Commissioner Helms?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I was just kind of curious. I was noticed that they've been putting a couple soundboards up in the pro shop and the restaurant area there, and I was wondering, what's the status of that? I know it's like they're testing whether or not this is the right place or not, but I'm not sure. I thought I'd ask you.
And I think you're referring to try to mitigate some of the sound, or so we did an acoustical study
Yes, I know.
in the clubhouse, and to do the full thing was $27,000, and that's not in the budget. So I think this is Ryan's attempt at an Amazon $200 or $300 solution. I don't know that they'll help. I don't want to do something and put money towards something personally that's not going to accomplish what we want it to do.
Yeah.
So that's, I haven't personally seen those or been in the clubhouse for
They're very
several months, but
they're attractive. Actually, they're
okay.
artwork, but then anyway, so
Yeah,
well,
they're
trying their best. I know it gets very loud in that place, so.
it does. And even with that, the sound deadening materials that are in there, I mean, it's a carpeted floor and an acoustical ceiling, so or sheetrock ceiling, and it's when it's loud and there's a lot of people in there, it's going to be loud. I mean, regardless of what you do, it's going to be loud. And people, when they're loud and they're having a good time and enjoying the atmosphere, they tend to talk over each other, which makes it even worse. So, and this is coming straight from the people that did the study. It's basically, we can do some things to help, but it's never going to be that quiet. It just isn't. So.
Oh, I understand. So,
Yeah.
thank you. I was just kind of curious where that was on it, because Ryan was asking me one time when I was sitting there having lunch or something, and says, well, what do you guys think about this? Should this go here or there? And I go, architectural stuff and colors, that's way above my pay grade. I says, to be honest with you, not to sound sexist, I says, I would ask you should ask a lady. And all of a sudden this woman walks in. So I asked her, hey, would you help him out? She was helping him out. So anyway, just part of the community.
I mean, as long as they look good as a wall covering and they add a little color to the area, I think they're great.
Right now, the two that they put up look like literally artwork.
Perfect. Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Garrett?
Right on. Mr. Chair, thanks. A lot of stuff that we've been doing is summer hiring, obviously. At the pool and golf course, we've hired all of our seasonal stuff. At the pool in particular, we have 64 guards, very similar to what we had last year. Still looking to add a few things here and there based on the guards' availability, but been doing a lot of that. And we have a new admin up in front here at City Hall named Monica Solis. So if you get the opportunity to go by and introduce yourself, she's great. We went through 117 applications, narrowed it down to 8. She was obviously one of the 8, interviewed those, and she was obviously the top pick. So her first start date is the 21st. So looking forward to getting to know her more. Other things we've been doing is the IRPA conference. That's the Idaho Parks and Recreation Association conference that's going to be held here in the Treasure Valley, where all the statewide recreation and parks professionals come into town. Doing a lot of stuff with tours. I've asked Kim and Mike to help lead a Pathways tour, very similar to what we've done in the past on the 5 Mile Creek thing there, and also rounded up some speakers to come and educate us parks and rec professionals. Meridian Youth Baseball Agreement, we got that almost done. We're just trying to work out a few items regarding some tournaments and field use and stuff like that, but still working on that. We're hoping to take that forward here soon. And obviously, like we had mentioned before, some community center stuff, moving on with that. Otherwise, sports, it's volleyball and softball season, cornhole, people are using our parks. It's super busy. Our park staff, like Jeremy said, do so much out there right now. And as the park awakens from the winter, there's so much to do, and they do a great job. I was out at Discovery Park on Monday, and it was just awesome. And the amount of use it was out there just in rainy day, it was still nice. Events, Unplug and Be Outside, movie night, Gene Kleiner Day, Kleiner Park Live, all that stuff, logistics Renee's working on. Classes and camps, like Shelley said, the guide came out and it was rocking that Friday with all the staff taking all the registrations and things. And a lot of things are online, but it was several thousands and thousands of dollars a day. So it was a good day for revenues on that aspect. Same thing with swim lessons. We still have some openings in swim lessons and some private lessons. There's a waiting list on that, but lessons are still underway. The pool, the cover came off Monday, so it's they're working on getting that ready to go, and the opening day is June 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, whatever that Monday is, right there. With that, home court, there's a tournament this weekend, basketball tournament in home court, and then after that, it's still a lot of pickleball, basketball, volleyball, things like that as parks start waking up indoor, people start moving outside, but it's still very, very busy at home court right now. And so Jake's working on the monthly schedules as well. And I don't know if I heard Shelley mention it, but the Main Street Market starts here soon this weekend, Saturday from 9 to 1. So if you're down here at City Hall, check out the Main Street Market. Sheree Everland's still doing it and still doing that. So a lot of stuff happening. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Thank you, Garrett. Do we have any questions from the commission? Good, thank you. And Kim.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, let's see, got a few projects going on the Rail with Trail pathway directly west of here. We did meet with the consultant and LTAC, which is the state organization, to review the 65% plans formally. So we're on track to have the plans complete mid-June, and then we have some concurrent environmental reviews ongoing. The 5 Mile pathway under State Highway 16, Ada County updated their ownership map. So land that we previously we had access across. We're now kind of wading through who owns that and how do we get permission. And so we're working with legal and Nampa and Meridian Irrigation District just to sort of determine where we stand there. So we have plans done, we're ready to go. It just, the map kind of changed underneath this. We did get a license agreement for, to add the restroom building at the Trail Hub on 10 Mile Road, the 5 Mile Creek Trail Hub. It's going to be very similar to some of the golf club or golf course restaurant. Gosh, I don't know why my brain is disconnected. Pardon me. The golf club restroom improvements. So we have formal permission for that. Mike helped out getting that ordered. geotechnical work is completed, so that's going. And the master plan is inching along. The consultant has drafted a community outreach survey, so I'll be sharing that within the next few weeks. And as Garrett said, we may not be doing a formal pathways tour this spring in lieu of the behind the scenes, but Mike and I will be leading one nonetheless, so working to put that together. And I think that's all I've got for now. I'll stand for any questions. Or sit.
Thank you, Kim. Any questions from the commission? Commissioner Bobo?
I assume you have that park on your radar of getting us to that park on the pathway program, right?
Oh, absolutely. Commissioner Bobo, yeah.
We're almost there. We're getting close already, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be a continuation of the 5-mile pathway.
Right.
And then the pipeline pathway, as Steve's suggested. So pathway on both sides of the 5-mile
There look like
probably
there might have to be some bridges over. some-
location. Yeah, we'll probably coordinate with the developer to do those either with roadway bridges. But usually with a large scale development like that, one of the plan review requirements is that they submit an overall pedestrian connectivity plan. So I gave them some kind of, bare parameters. We need a 5-mile pathway, we need a pipeline pathway, put one along the mid-mile collector, and then show us how it's going to work overall pedestrian wise. So yeah, we'll be back and forth on that quite a bit, but it's exciting. I think there'll be a lot
Yes,
of
keep me posted.
connectivity. Yeah, keep adding.
Any other questions? Thank you, Kim. And that concludes our staff reports. We do not have any other business. So could I have a motion for adjournment of tonight's meeting?
Chairman, I would like to propose that we adjourn our meeting for tonight. And I just want to say thank you to the entire staff here for all you guys do. You do a fantastic job in this city. Thank you.
I agree. And with that, Commissioner Helms has made a motion for adjournment. Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Denton has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. The meeting has been adjourned until Wednesday, May 14th.